Each and every language has its own structure and syntax and protocols. So here SQL, this is architecture of SQL language. With the help of create command, we are going to create a table, and if what any changes to be done, to be made to a particular table, we can make use of alter command. We can have a different records to be displayed, or we can have a view of a different record based on select command. Dear students, welcome to computer science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in computer science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Students, in this session, we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter 14, SQL commands. Let us see the weightage of the chapter. So, total weightage is 8 marks, and here one MCQ, one question, and one 2-mark question, and one 5-mark question. So, there are 3 questions, and total weightage is 5 marks. Now, in this chapter, we are going to learn different concepts of SQL language. We'll start with the introduction, SQL architecture, SQL commands, operators, constraints, keys, and built-in functions. Now, let us start our discussion with the introduction to SQL language. So, what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So, what is SQL? SQL is a language, structured query language, and it is a computer language. So, SQL is a language of database. Now, each and every language has its own application. As you have been learning C++, it is a general purpose language. Similarly, SQL is a type of language. It is a one language. It is a language of database. So, it includes database creation, database deletion, fetching rows, and modifying rows, etc. So here, what is this database? You know, the database is a combination of rows and columns. So here in this language, we are going to learn different types of commands for creating a new database, deletion, fetching, and modifying rows. And it is a structured query language. It is a database language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving stored in relational database. So, another meaning is fetching of the data from the database. So, SQL is a language, structured query language used for creation, deletion, fetching of rows, and also as well as for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data stored in a database, or RDBMS, what we call Relational Database Management System. And it is a standard language for RDBMS, or we say Relational Database Management System. Now let us move on to next slide. Now, each and every language has its own structure and syntax and protocols. So here SQL, this is architecture of SQL language. So here it has a physical database here, and we have DBMS engine, query language processor, and SQL query, and parse-space optimizer, and this includes file manager plus transaction manager. So this is how we represent the SQL language architecture. So here, if you observe this, there are so many processes or few processors inside this. So this is your SQL query, and this is the physical database. In between, the process take place with different layers or different process. So they are query dispatcher, this is the one, optimization engine, and classical query engine, and SQL query engine. These are all different processes takes place while we're working with SQL commands, or we say SQL queries. Now let us move on to next slide. Now let us see what are different types of SQL commands. So here SQL commands are groups based on the following nature. One is DDL command, that is DDL, it stands for Data Definition Language. DDL and DML, Data Manipulation Language. DCL, Data Control Language, and Data Query Language. So, SQL commands are classified into 4 different categories. They are DDL commands, DML, DCL, and DQL. Now, let us see all the different types of commands one by one. Now, first one is DDL command. That is DDL, it stands for Data Definition Language. So, the definition of this is, it defines the conceptual schema providing a link between the logical way the user views the data and the physical way in which the data is stored in the structure of database. Now, here, if we look in the definition of this, here there are 2 concepts. One is the physical structure of database. Second one is the logical structure of the database. So, the logical structure or the views of a database. So, DDL command is going to link physical layer as well as with the logical layer, or we can say the physical structure with the logical structure or logical view of the user. So, this is a definition of DDL. Next one is, it defines the physical characteristics of each record, field in the record, field, data type, and everything. So, here, as all of you know, that the database is made up of rows and columns. So, each rows in a database is a record. So, each record, so this defines the type of record and the type of the field along with the data type as well length of the fields. Means in each and every attribute or in a column, we are going to define the data type of a particular column or attribute along with the size of the attribute or a column. So, all these comes under the DDL or data definition language. Here there are 3 DDL commands. One is create command, alter and drop queries or commands. So, here what is the first create? So, the creates a new table and a view of a table or the object in a database. So, here the first of all, whenever if you want to work with the database, you have to create a database, or the database is made up of tables. So, first we have to create table. So, with the help of create command, it creates a new table. Next one is alter command. So, alter is nothing but modifies an existing database object such as a table. So, this is a SQL query or SQL command to alter the database object or nothing but table. Suppose with the help of create command, we are going to create a table, and if what are any changes to be done, to be made to a particular table, we can make use of alter command. And drop table or drop, it deletes an entire table and a view of a table or another object in the database. So, this is a drop command or a query. It is used to delete the entire table which have been created using create command. So, these are all different DDL commands, data definition language commands. Now, let us move on to next slide. Next one is DML, data manipulation language, DML commands. So, here it provides manipulation technique, data manipulation technique such as selection, insertion, deletion, modification, and so on. So, it facilitates the use of relationship between the record. So, what are the functions of this DML commands here? And with the help of DML command, the user is possible to selection. We can have different techniques or different operations. They are selection, insertion, deletion, and modification, updation with respect to a particular record or a group of records. So, and it is also, it facilitates the use of relationship between the record. It is nothing but a group of records. And here we have three DML commands. One is insert, update, and delete. So, what is insert here? It is going to create a new record. and insert is to create a new record. And here if you look at the previous slide, we have create command. It is going to create a new table. So inside the table, we are going to insert a new record. So this is insert command. It is to create a new record in a table. And next one is update command. So it is going to modify the values. So what is the meaning of update here? Or update is, suppose if you want to change the values of a record in a particular database, then we can make use of update query or update command. It is used to modify the values in a particular record or a group of records. Next one is delete. So it is delete command is going to delete records. So delete command is to delete the records based on certain conditions, or you can delete a record or a group of records based on certain conditions. So these are all DML commands. Next one is DCL command. It is data control languages. So DQL command, here they are grant and revoke. And what is the use of grant command here? It gives a privilege to the user. Privilege is nothing but, we can say it is a permission. It is a permission to the user at different levels. So grant command give a privileges to the user, and revoke command, it takes back the privileges to you, or roll back the privileges given to the user. So here it is nothing but a type of a sort of security to the database. So here the database administrator, he can give privileges to the user based on their different level or different category, and that is grant command. And revoke is to roll back or takes back the privileges given to the user. So these two are DCL commands. Now let us move on to next slide. So next one is data query language. So DQL, it stands for data query language. So that is, we have only select command. So it retrieves certain records from one or more tables. So what is the meaning of retrieving the record? We can have a different records to be displayed, or we can have a view of a different record based on select command. So select is a data query language, retrieves certain records or a group of record based on certain condition from a one table, from a table, or a more than one table. So this is select command is a DQL command. Dear students, so in this session we have discussed about SQL commands and SQL language. It is a structured query language and it is a language of database, and different SQL commands. Now let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you very much.